This is a picture of my mom's family after my uncle, her eldest brother, boarded a boat in hope of going to America. My mother was still very young when my uncle left. Her whole family lived through the war that left the country in savage. Poverty was the norm, as were the children of Vietnam becoming orphans every day. Families were left broken and scattered throughout the four winds. Every gunshot triggered an immediate fear in everyone's mind. Two of my uncles were in the war fighting for the South, where they saw their friends die off on a daily basis. Every family at the time was robbed of a member. Ours was no different, although she did not pass away from battle, but the post-war condition drove my grandmother to work so hard that she died from an illness. Like many families at the time, ours could not afford a proper burial for her. My uncle was in America at the time. He decided to go because he wanted to give his family a new start, and thankfully, his journey was a success. With great risk, he traveled by boat to Malaysia, where he stayed for 6 months, before flying to New Jersey, where he worked for 6 months before moving permanently to California. The rest of the family joined my uncles in 1992, but my mother couldn't because she was married and already had a family. However, our family followed the others and ventured to America in 2003. May 10th, 2003 was the day that the whole family was reunited after over 20 years of separation. Because of my uncle, all my cousins and I were granted opportunities for higher education and a life we never knew was possible. Living in Vietnam, we could never have gone to college. It was out of the question, but in America, college was such a natural progression for all of us.
Vietnam War changed not only my life but a lot of people that I know. My mom and my uncle got separated for 20 years, and I can't imagine what her life was like during that time frame. But for me, I'm thankful. I'm thankful to have the chance to go to America and was given so many opportunities to pursue my education and was able to get a bachelor degree. When I was young, I would never imagine that one day I could get a degree in a civil engineering.
Well, the biggest impression I have of the war is that, well, we live only through the aftermath of it, what happened, what has become of the country after the war. And for the most part, it was peaceful. And it was just our parents, our grandparents, people who we know that was affected by the war. And actually, I've had a few family members who died in the war due to the communists. And I wouldn't say that it affected me directly because I was too young to remember, but the one thing that I get from the war is that the chance to come to America, the chance to speak with my own voice, and the chance to just have the opportunity to make a better future for myself and for my family, to become a better person, per se, and to live in an environment where there's people who actually care about what I think of everything and that actually care if I'm getting an education or not. And I think it's different, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful for the fact that I get to be here and that I'm giving the chance to live, pretty much. I think it's wonderful.
Looking back at Vietnam and why I am in New York right now, I'm looking at the house my mother lived with 8 of her siblings 40 years ago and our home in California at the moment. I can honestly say that we've come a long way. We pushed through great obstacles. Although we all love our homeland, my family and I know that coming to America was the right choice. Hearing about my uncle's journey was what inspired me to move to New York. This big move is not as dramatic as the one I made in May 10th, 2003, but to me it's just as significant.